Now, the current economic crisis has meant life-changing hardship for many, but some, believing the world is on the verge of a major depression, are taking the plunge themselves into a tougher way of life by living off the land. Our TV's Alexei Yershevsky went to see how one man is literally getting away from it all.
Big city life. It moves rapidly day by day at one mad pace. Some cannot exist without it, but not everyone is ready to live like this forever, especially after the financial turmoil tightened its grip on the planet.
The global credit crunch has left many demoralized in big cities, but one man in central Ukraine knew it was coming, and he came prepared. He invited us to his house in the Kiev region.
Some 7 years ago, Viktor felt life in the Ukrainian capital had become too stressful. On top of that, he read several books which claimed a big world crisis was coming. That's why the software engineer decided not to wait. He bought a small house and in 2007 moved to the countryside. Last September, Viktor was among those who had the full right to say, "See, I told you."
Back in 2002, I realized that a big crisis would come in about 10 years. And it's not that I made this up. There are many books on the subject. And now my forecast is coming true even earlier. And I believe this credit crunch is only the beginning.
Mass man-made disasters, disappearing resources, marauding and food scavenging. These are just a few of the possible scenarios which, according to Viktor, will only increase around the planet. That's why, he says, one has to be ready to live a fully autonomous life. Viktor wakes up early in the morning to work the entire day through. It is hard, especially in the blazing sun, but he says it is not work for money, it's work for survival.
We have counted up how much we need to survive, and we're now able to grow it. And also we need food for the cattle, timber for heating in the wintertime, and water. Such things as electricity, oil, telephones and money will not be available during the crisis. And I can now say I've made myself fully independent from those.
If someone thinks these ideas are absurd, try to imagine what would happen in a megapolis should it be deprived of electricity or sewage disposal. Some, however, turned this survivalist theory into a scary scenario, arming themselves against possible cataclysms. Others, like Mikhail from Moscow, stick to a more sensible approach. Mikhail does not quite share this apocalyptic view, but still he believes that one should be prepared to turn even the simplest things into means of survival.
This is a regular military spade. Every soldier has it at his disposal. But in a crisis situation it could be used as a spade, as a hammer, as a knife, and you can even use it as a frying pan to fry fish.
The number of so-called survivalists in big cities is thought to have more than tripled since the beginning of the global market crisis. Whether or not the world will soon descend into chaos is debatable. But looking at Viktor and the way he manages his home, or some may call it a shelter, hardly anyone would criticize the man's will to build his own castle, regardless of the motive. Alexei Yershevsky, RT, Moscow and Kiev.